In my last tutorial, we looked at how we could export a project in GDevelop and then use Cordova to turn it into something that we could open in Android Studio. And then we used Android Studio to manually build an APK that we could install and test on Android devices. So I want to start where we left off in that last tutorial, and we're going to quickly take a look at how we can use Android Studio to create an Android app bundle that we can release to the Google Play Store. So first of all, you'll want to double check everything in your project. You want to make sure that your icons and thumbnail, all your Android icons are in here, whether you used individual files or generated them all from one file. You'll want to double check your properties. Make sure you have the name you want, the package name you want, the version number is correct, your publisher name is correct. Just double check everything. Hit apply. If you did have any changes, you will need to re-export that project. So you would hit your build manually, go to the mobile tab, choose a folder. I'm going to create a new one in that same pairs project folder, and we'll call it pairs export. Okay, and I'm just going to select that folder. Oh, it would help if I created it first. Alright, so select that folder. Go ahead and package it to that folder. It'll take a few moments. When it's done, just remember to save any changes you have made in GDevelop. And you can go take a look at your folder. In your original export folder, you could just go ahead and delete that, because these export folders do take up some space, so you don't want too many around if it's not necessary. Now, naturally, if you needed to save that for some reason, you could. I didn't, because that was just like for our APK we made, and now we're making our release, so I could do a completely different folder. So now you would want to go into your new export folder and run the command line. Run your Cordova command to add your Android platform. Okay, Cordova platform, add Android at 11, and give it a few moments to create the platform. Okay, once Cordova has successfully added the platform, we could just go in here, and remember, we do need to open up the Android platform in order to highlight the correct path that we'll need for Android Studio. So just Control-C that to copy it, and we'll head over to Android Studio. Since I deleted this folder, that no longer exists, and I can just remove it from my recent projects. Okay, now we can just go ahead and hit open, and I'm going to paste my path in there that I just copied from our new platforms Android folder, and we do want to make sure it's on our Android folder, and we'll just click OK. Once again, it will ask us if we trust the project, and we do, so we'll go ahead and open it. If you need any more of that method we use to open our project in Android Studio, if what I did just now was not clear to you, you can check out the first tutorial. I will be sure to leave a link in the description. So it does take a few moments to open our project in Android Studio and to get our Gradle sync started with it. Okay, once our project is all imported and synced, and you can see I still haven't updated my Gradle plugin, you can go ahead and do that, and I will get around to it eventually. Okay, so now we're ready to build our Android app bundle. So when we go to build our Android app bundle, it's very similar to how we built our APK. We would come to the build tab, and there is actually a way you can set your build configuration file for each project to automatically sign your project with the correct keys that you specify in that file. And if you set your configuration up that way, then this is the command you would use. You would need to use generate a signed bundle, where you would fill in that information manually because you would already have your configuration set up to fill it in for you. So if you decide you like building your projects, your finished projects into app bundles with Android Studio, that could be something you look into. But for this tutorial, we are just going to manually add that information in. So we will need this option here, generate a signed bundle or APK. Okay. So really quick, we're going to need to know about Play App Signing. And I do have some nice sites. You can go to Play Console Help and you can look at Create, Upload, and Publish. And they will give you some nice information about Play App Signing. What it is, how it works, and various instructions on what you need to do to sign your apps. Now bear in mind, if something in this does not make sense to you and you are not seeing an option they have listed, that is because that option only exists for legacy apps, which were made, I believe, before August 2021. I could have my date wrong because I did not make games back then, so I do not know. But there are a couple options listed here that you and I, who are just now uploading apps, will not see listed in our Play console because we are not opening and updating older apps. So just bear in mind, if something you see in this article doesn't make sense, that's all it is. It's just something that we're not seeing because we don't have these legacy apps. Same with this Android developer site. They also have a lot of nice information. If you go to publish your app, you can read up on this, signing your app. Again, bearing in mind, if you see it referring to something that doesn't exist when you're looking at uploading your app in your Play console, it's because that's talking about a legacy app and we are making newer apps. So, in a nutshell, we're just going to go over what Play App Signing is. Play App Signing is that Google Play now signs our apps. There was a time when developers created APKs and they signed those APKs and they sent those APKs to Google Play Store's marketplace. And when someone requested that APK from Google Play would send that whole already signed APK to that device. And Google Play did not need to sign that APK or make that APK because it was already made and signed by the developer. So all they did was sent the whole thing to someone's device. Now we use Android app bundles. And with an app bundle, it's basically a list of different modules and different instructions that we give Google Play on how to make APKs from the different resources we're giving Google. Okay, so a device will request our app. Google will look at the device's specifications, if the device has paid for this or that, or if they're doing a free demo or whatever, and it'll look and see if we have any instructions regarding any of that thing. And then it'll create an APK for us based on our app bundle instructions. And it will then have to sign that APK because it's creating it. Well, I mean, you have to sign an APK and then it will put it on that person's device. Okay, so that is what Play App Signing is. Google Play now has to sign our apps. There's no way to opt out of that because we're using app bundles and because Google Play is making APKs from our app bundles. They have to sign those APKs. So the only option we have is, do we want Google to generate the app signing key that they're going to use to sign our apps with? Or do we want to generate our own app signing key and then provide a copy of that key to Google Play, and Google Play will use our key to sign our apps for us. So that's our two options, and we'll look at them really briefly. Option 1 is the one Google recommends. Google recommends that you let Google generate your app signing key and sign your apps for you with that key. And they will never give you access to that key. And they will never give anyone else access to that key. And if you don't need access to that key, this is a great thing to let Google just generate that key for you and use it to sign your apps. And then you always have your key protected and safe. You never have to worry about losing or compromising your key. And it's a win-win for everyone. It's a win for Google because Google doesn't want maybe a less than diligent app developer that has a bad habit of putting their APK signing key where it doesn't belong and where maybe third parties can get a hold of it and infiltrate Google Play, infiltrate their customers. So from Google, it's a win because they know if they have it, it's secure, right? So for Google's customers, it's a win because if Google has it, and I'm sure Google is a very secure company, well, the customers are less likely to have some malicious third party that got a hold of that, using it for unintended purposes on their device. So it's a win for the customers, it's a win for Google, and in a way, it's a win for the developer because if you don't need access to your app signing key, then it's like a free service Google is giving you to create the signing key for you to, well, I'm not going to say free because we do know what they charge developers, but you know what I mean. It's just a service. Okay, never mind. The developer loses anyway, but so it's a win for Google and it's a win for their customers because they don't have to worry that some less than diligent or grossly negligent app designer lets their app signing key fall into the wrong hands and infiltrate the whole system and just wreak havoc on everything. So that's why Google really pushes to let you, to have you let them generate the app signing key for you. And that is the easiest way to set it up too. So the second thing is, if you really do need to have access to your app signing key, then you would just provide Google with that key and they would use that key to sign your apps. Okay, so we're going to go over the first scenario first, which is the easiest to set up. So in that situation, you would go to your build and you would generate your signed bundle or APK. And it's already set to app bundle for you, so you can just hit next. And now we're assuming that this is a brand new project. You have never uploaded it to Google Play, so you don't have an existing key to choose. So we would want to hit this one called Create a New Key. And it wants to know a path for our new key. So let's exit out of here. I'm just going to create a new folder on my desktop. And I guess I'll call it Pair Project Keys. Okay, I'm just going to enter that so I can get the path real quick. And I'm going to paste the path in here. But this path just leads me to an empty folder. And I also need to give it the name of the file I want it to create. So I'm going to have to add a backslash right here. And then I'm going to have to name the file. And this is, since we are setting up this one as if we are letting Google Play generate our key, our app signing key, then whatever we sign our app bundle with, Google Play is going to consider that as our upload key. So that's what we're going to name this. We're going to call it Pairs Upload Key. And that will be the name of our file. Now the extension we need to give our file is JKS. So you would add a dot there, JKS. So now you need a password. And your password should be very strong. It shouldn't be like I love tacos or something like that. It should be an actual password with uppercase, lowercase, just numbers, underscores, just the works, just random nonsense. But for this tutorial, we're just going to make a simple password. Okay, now we need an alias for our key. Okay? For this tutorial, I'm just going to use this same name as the file. But you really should just use a different name because it might even make it more secure. So, pairs upload key. That will be my alias. Now for the password on this one, we have to use the same password we used up here because there is a known issue with using different passwords creating errors. And I don't believe they ever fixed that. So whatever you used here, use it down here too. Okay, so now your validity, you will not be able to get away with making this like 5 years or 1 year. So, not if you're going to upload it to the Play Store. They have a limit on how low you can make this because they want their customers to be able to expect seamless updates instead of you only set this for 5 years and then you can no longer update that app. You just have to make a new app. So do check the Google Play Store on their current minimum validity you can have. I believe it was October 2033. I don't know what it is now. That's how long you had to make them good for. But I would say if you're serious about the app, you might as well just give it a ridiculous amount of time. So just go ahead and say 100 years. You just want to make sure you can always update that app as long for its lifetime anyway. So now go ahead and fill out this information, your first and last name. You can leave these out if you don't have organization. Your city, your state of providence, and your country code. And just fill all that out accurately because you are putting this in the Play Store. So, now I'm not worried about it because this is just something I'll delete when I'm done anyway. So, you go ahead and click OK. It's going to create all that. And it's going to put it in the folder we wanted, and it has the name and the extension we gave it. And it also fills this out for us. Now, at this point, if all we wanted to do was make that key, but not associate it to this project, we could now hit cancel. Okay? And all it would have done is created this upload key for us and not associated it with that project. And I'm pointing that out because we will need to make upload keys in the second step that I'm going to show you. But for this part, this first part, since we're assuming that we are letting Google Play generate our app signing key, we will just use this for that because whatever we build and sign our app with, if we're letting Google Play generate our key, is what they will consider our upload key. So now we could just fill that information back in. We can give it the path. Instead of create new, we would choose existing, and it would want that path. So we could go ahead and grab that path out. I'm going to copy it and just paste it in there. And when it comes up, I'll just click down here and click the correct file. Okay, and then I would put my password in. My alias, which is that. My same password. Now, when you build and sign your app bundle and you're letting Google generate your app signing key, you do not need this. We can never use this. This right here, this option is only valid if you have a legacy app and you're wanting to opt in to the Play app signing, but you want to use your key. Okay, so that's only valid in that situation. We can't use it. When we want Google to use a key we provide them, we have to do a slightly different method than this. Okay, so just uncheck that. We never need this exported PEPK file because it won't work if we try to upload that PEPK file. We will need to create our own and upload that one, and I'll show you more about that later. So just go ahead and uncheck that. We do not need that. You can check remember passwords if you're into that sort of thing. And at that point, you would click next. Then a screen would come up and it would say, are you doing a debug or a release? And you would click release. And you would click next or finish, and it would go ahead and it would build your app and it would sign it with this key. And again, because we are going to be opting in for Google Play to actually generate our app signing key, whatever we signed this with right here, Google would by default consider that our upload key. And now anytime we went to update that app, we would just do what I just did here. Choose existing, go choose the existing key for that application, fill our necessary credentials in, and build the update to our app that was already in Google Play. And when we uploaded it, Google would check it and say, okay, this is the right upload key. And they would go ahead and allow us to update it. They would review it. They would replace our older app with it. And they would still be using the same app signing key that they generated for our app. Okay, so that's how to do it if you want Google Play to generate your app signing key. And if something did go wrong and you lost this key or you couldn't remember the password, which, really quick, let me show you a simple way to remember the password. Yeah, I've already forgot the alias. Let's see. Pairs upload key. Okay, and so this is why I made it a separate folder. You're not going to actually want your keys in the same folder as the project. You're going to want this somewhere safe and somewhere far, far away from your developer things, okay? Because you're probably going to want to keep a README in it. If not, you're going to want to write this down on a piece of paper somewhere. Because when you update your app 6 months from now, you're probably not going to remember. But anyway, if something did happen, you forgot the password, somehow your key was compromised, it wouldn't matter according to the documentation. I cannot attest to this because I've never had to do it. But according to the documentation, since you're letting Google generate the actual app signing key while you're just using an upload key, whatever you sign yours with, it is easier for them to reset or replace your upload key if it is lost or stolen or something bad happens to it. So, I think I finished everything we need to say about letting Google sign your apps for you. And now let's see what that would look like to set up. If we went to our Play console, we could create an app, and we would call this app Pairs Tutorial. Okay, and we would just fill out this information here, whichever way we were doing it, and then we would check those boxes, create our project. It's going to get our dashboard up for us. We would fill out a lot of things to get it up and running, but fortunately they are quick. But just assuming we were going to do some internal testing first, and assuming we had everything else filled out that we need, we would create our new release. And as we see, the releases will be signed by Google Play. And here we can go to change the signing key. And right now at default, let Google manage and protect your app signing key. And that's recommended. So I guess that's another word for let Google create the app signing key too. So we would just leave that checked. And then we would go ahead and upload our bundle that we had built with that key. And since we had that checked, that Google was doing our key, whatever we uploaded that bundle, whatever key it had, Google would just say, well, that's their upload key, okay? So that is how you would set that up. Now we're going to look at scenario 2, where we actually want to provide Google with our own key that they would use to sign our apps with. Okay, so for that, let's go to change signing key and let's look at the options they give us. Now, the first option is use the same key as another app in this developer account. And if you check this option, they will tell you that it is not recommended because it might not be very secure to do that. But that in some cases, you will have to do that, such as if you build your different apps in such a way that they must communicate with each other or whatnot. Or if you have apps that are already pre-installed on some devices and you need Google Play to use that same app signing key. So that is one thing you could do. You could check this. It'll warn you against it, but it will say that you can do it. It just warns you not to. And then it will let you choose from a list of your published apps, and you can use one of the same keys that one of those apps has. So that's one way you could do it. And then there's export and upload a key not using Java Key Store. So there's another thing you can do. It gives you instructions on how to do that. And then it gives you export and upload a key from the Java Key Store. Now, if you have a legacy app, you will also see export and upload a key made with Android Studio. And that was what that export encrypted key for enrolling published apps in Play App Signing. That's what you would use that for. But notice we don't have that option. That's why we never need to export this. Because you cannot use this and upload it here. Even though it's still a PEPK file, it will not upload here. You need to follow these instructions. And these are the instructions we're going to use instead of these ones. And the reason we're going to use these ones is because when we installed Android Studio, it was a pretty big download. And so we might as well get some use out of it. And guess what it came with? It came with Java. So we're going to borrow its version of Java to follow these instructions and make our key store. So the first thing you'll have to do is download this PEPK tool, and it's Play Encrypt Private Key Tool. It's a very tiny thing to download. So just go ahead and download that real quick. And you can see I've already downloaded it. I'm just showing you how to download it so you won't be scared about it being really big or something like that. So once you have it downloaded, you can just open the file. And mine's actually empty because I already placed mine where it needs to go. And so I'm going to show you where to place yours. So assuming you have your downloads folder open and your PEPK tool right in here, We now need to put it in Android Studio's little Java folder that we're going to be borrowing to use it. So go to your Windows, and if you installed your Android Studio at its default location, I'll show you where it is. And if you installed it at a different location, I'm sure you already know where it is. So for its default location, we're going to hit the Windows, then we're going to hit Program Files and hit Enter to open that. Now highlight Android and hit Enter to open that. Android Studio, Enter. JBR, Enter. And BIN, Enter. And here is where we are going to drag our little tool into, okay? So I've already done that, and you can go ahead and do that too. So once you have your little tool dragged in here, let me see if I can find mine. Here it is, PEPK jar. Okay, so now we're ready to follow the next part of the steps that they have listed in our app signing preferences. So now we need to run the tool using this command below. Okay, so we'll go ahead and copy this command. I don't need the $sign in front of mine, so I'm going to go ahead and paste that command here. Zoom out a little. I'm going to get rid of that $sign. Okay, let's look at what we have. We need to replace this right here. And we need to replace this right here and our output, okay? Alright, so let's get to it. Now, what we need to replace this with, the key store equals foo. We need to replace that with the name of our key store. So let's go to our key store, and it's pairs upload keys. So I'm going to go ahead and rename that. I'm not really renaming it. I'm just copying it really quick, and I'm going to paste it right in here. Okay, but that's not enough because we're going to be running the command right in this bin folder where we dropped our PEPK tool. So it's not going to know where this is. So we're also going to have to go ahead and just copy the address to it. Okay, so where I have my name that I just pasted in, we're just going to go ahead and hit a backslash first, and then right in front of that backslash, we'll just paste our project, our path in there. Okay, so that's one thing finished. Now we need to change the alias name, and I just used the same alias, so we'll go ahead and use that too. Okay, now we need to change the output, and we do need it to be a zip file because that is what they ask us to upload. They ask us to upload the generated zip. So we're just going to replace this name, and we'll just call it pairs upload key zip, I guess. I don't know. So let's go ahead and change this name. Okay, and just like this first one, where we're telling it where to find the upload key, we also want to tell it to put our zip file in that same location. You can just have it put it, if you leave it like this, it's going to try to put it in this bin folder, which would be fine. You could probably drag it out. Just be aware that to make changes in this bin folder, you would need to run a administrator command prompt, and I'm not running one because otherwise you may get access denied errors, okay? So I'm just going to output that to the same project folder I have my upload key JKS in. So output, and right in front of that, I just want to paste that path in. Okay, so now we have everything we needed. So let's just go ahead and Control A, Control C. And now let's go back to our little bin folder where we put our PEPK tool, because this is the folder that has the Java that we're borrowing from Android. Okay, so now we'll just go ahead and enter command and bring up our command prompt for that file. And now I'm just going to go ahead and Control V and paste that entire thing we just did in. And we'll go ahead and let that run, and it wants to know my password, okay? So we'll have to enter that. And you're not going to see what you're typing. And it wants to enter the other password, which is, of course, the same password because of that known issue I mentioned earlier. And just hit enter when you're done. And now it's just going to do it. And you can see that we have our pairs upload key zip right in here. Okay, now let's go back to our instructions. And actually, I just realized we really should have used that for generating this optional upload key, because that's what we called that, was upload key. But that's all right. We'll generate this with that key too, and then we'll make another key and we'll generate that as the app signing key, because you need practice anyway, okay? So let's show the instructions for creating our optional upload key. I do recommend this, even if you want to give Google Play the app signing key to sign your app with. If you use an optional upload key, then once you give them that app signing key, after that, you would always just use your upload key when you're signing your app. And that way you're not transmitting your actual app signing key when you're uploading your stuff to Google Play, okay? So I do suggest making this optional upload key. So let's go ahead and do that now, and we're going to do that with that same JKS file we just used to create an app signing key, which we're just going to delete that anyway, because I've decided we're going to make a different key to sign our app with, because it makes no sense to sign our app with something called an upload key. Okay, so we're just going to delete that real quick. Okay, now for this optional upload key, we need to export a certificate. This certificate, we're not going to use that when we're signing our app. That's what we're giving Google Play. And when we sign our app with that upload key, they're going to check the fingerprint on the certificate and make sure what we signed it with is giving them the same fingerprint. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this right here. And we'll go back to our notepad, Control A, delete, and Control V. And I do have to get rid of the $sign. Okay, so for this, we're going to be using the key tool, which is obviously also in that same bin folder inside of our Android Studio folder. So let's go to our notepad. This is just telling us what to export and what format to export in. So for our key store, this is where we replace the name of our key store. And once again, we have to have that path too, okay? So I'm just going to copy the name of my key store, and I'm going to paste it in here. And I'm going to add a backslash in front of it. And then I'm just going to copy this too. And I'm going to paste that right in there. Okay, so it knows where to find that file that I'm telling it to find. And we want to make sure we only have one JKS right here. Okay, so now our alias. And again, mine was pairs upload key. So here, alias, we're just going to replace this one that says upload with our actual alias. Okay, and for the file, this is where we want it outputted to. Okay, and it's got to end with this PEM. So we just changed the name. So I'm going to name the file pairs upload key certificate. Okay, and now once again I'm going to need the same path because I want it to go to this same folder. And I'll just paste it in there. And now you just Control A, Control C, and go back to our command prompt because we already opened it in this bin folder. And we'll just Control V that in and hit enter. And now let's see. Illegal option C. So what that means is in one of our commands, we accidentally overwrote the actual command with the letter C. So let's go find which one it was. And it's going to be right here where it should say file. Okay, now Control A, Control C, and we'll run that command one more time. Now it wants our key store password. And it stored our file where we asked it to. So now we have our upload JKS file and our upload certificate, okay? We can use the JKS file when we sign our apps. And the certificate is what we upload right here when we're ready. But it's better to upload these both at the same time. Otherwise, sometimes you get weird errors. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work on creating a key store that we can turn into this generated zip they want. And we can give that to Google Play as our app signing key. So let's go ahead and go back to Android Studio. And we're not going to sign it with this upload key since we never did. We only created it and then exited out before we signed and built the app. So let's go to create a new, and we're going to do the same path in the pairs project keys, but we're going to call this one our app signing key. Pairs app sign key, okay? And I'll name the alias pairs app sign key, and the password validity first name, last name, city, state, country. Okay, and we are ready to actually build our app using this app signing key. So let's go ahead and go to our pairs project folder, and we're going to add to our README, and we'll say upload key. Alright, and go ahead and save it. And we'll go back to our play console and we'll look at the instructions again. We've already downloaded the PEPK tool, so we'll just go ahead and recopy this command we need and go back to our notepad and just paste that in. I'm going to get rid of my $sign. And I'm going to take my my new JKS, which is the app sign key. I'm just going to copy the name. And paste it in there. And the path too. Don't forget to add your backslash there. Okay, so now I'm going to change my alias. And my output, which is where I want that to go. And I'm going to need to copy my path to it. And paste that right in front of the name that I gave my output. Okay, so that should be done, and we'll just Control A, Control C, and go back to our little command prompt that's already open in our bin folder, and we'll paste that in there and hit enter. And it's going to want our password. Enter it, enter again, and it's going to put our zip folder right where we specified it, okay? So now at this point, when you go to build your app, you have two things you could do. We could build it with our app signing key and not generate this optional upload key, okay? And then we could just add that later if we wanted to. And for now, we could just build it with our same app signing key that we're going to upload the generated zip to Google Play. Or we could go ahead and just build it with our upload key already, put our upload key certificate here, and upload our generated app signing key right here. Okay, so we're just going to build it with our upload key. Since we're including it already, we'll just go ahead and build it first with the upload key. If we were going to include it later, then the first time or the first few times we built it, we would always just use our app signing key. And then later when we decided to add our upload key, from then on we could build it with our upload key, okay? So into Android Studio, I have the app signing key set up. So I just need to cancel that, because remember, that's a way you can make keys without actually tying them to this project. It doesn't get tied to this project until you have that box filled in and you put next, okay? So let's go back to Generate Signed Bundle or App. It's on Android App Bundle. And we're going to find our upload key. So let's go to Choose Existing. And that was in my project key folder. So I'm just going to paste that in there. And whoa, I didn't copy that. That's crazy. Hold on, y'all. Let me go back and get the actual path there, and we'll just paste that in there, and that looks a lot better. And we'll hit enter, and when it pulls up the right folder, we'll just go ahead and open that, and we're looking for my upload key, not the app signing key. So we'll go ahead and do that, and it'll fill all that in for us. Now we need to put our key store password, our key alias, and our key password. Okay, and we do not need to export that encrypted key because it does us no good. So we'll go ahead and hit next. Now is where we select debug or release, and if we had different variants, we would specify them there, and it's going to export it into the export folder of this our project, and we don't want it in there. I would rather just have it in our pairs project folder. So we'll just hit that. So we'll go ahead and create, and we'll give it a minute to build and sign our app bundle. Okay, so once that's built, we can go to our notifications and locate it, which it should be in our pairs project release folder. So it's made a new folder in here called release, and there it is. Now we can drag this into our play console, but before we do, let's add our keys. It's always better to add your keys and specify that you want to use these keys before you put your project in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to pairs project keys, and right now we're giving them the zip for our app signing key. So we'll go ahead and click that, and we'll put that right there. It's going to upload that generated zip, and now we'll go find our upload certificate. And this is our pairs upload certificate. It's a PEM file, so we'll go ahead and open that. And now we can come over to the bottom where it says save. Okay, so now that we have changed those keys, now we can upload our pairs project in there. So let's just find that release file. That's not what I intended to do, and we'll just go ahead and drag it right in there, and it's gonna upload that project. Okay, now that it's uploaded, I'm going to save as a draft because I have not done anything else, so it probably will not let me actually save anything. When I hit next, it'll probably give me a bunch of errors about I need to finish setting up everything else. So it does have 3 warnings. I need to provide my advertising ID declaration. I haven't specified any testers, and it's saying I did not include a I can't even say that file with it. So right now it's looking pretty good. This is actually looking a lot better for internal testing than if you try to set up a closed testing or an open testing with none of this done. It looks terrible. It's like tons of red warnings. So we'll go ahead and save this for now. And it's got my temporary app name. So now that that's done, I'm debating, should I show you how to update it? So we can go back to the internal testing, And we're going to see our release here, and we can see this edit release tab. So really quickly, I just changed the version number of the project because you need to do that if you update something to the Google Play Store. So I'll just go ahead and open that in Android Studio. Go ahead and say I trust it, and I'm going to let this build and sync real quick. Okay, and when that's done, we'll just go ahead and go back to Generate Assigned Bundle or APK. And we'll choose our existing upload key. And that was our pairs upload key JKS. We'll enter our password. Our alias. And our password. And we don't need to encrypt it, so we'll go to next. Release. And it will build that for us. Okay, so once that's done, we can open up our notification pane to see where it located it for us. And we can drag that into our new editing we're doing here. If I could figure out, I think it's this one. And it's going to upload our app real quick. Okay, and as you can see, it uploaded our app version 1.1.10 using that same upload key that we originally uploaded our app with. So we could just save as a draft, and we can hit next in a minute. And once you do that, what we did of choosing the signing keys by hitting change signing key, if for some reason you have to go in here again, say you decided on a different set of keys, you will have to go in here and hit the little trash can icon by your certificate if you uploaded one, and by your zipped file if you uploaded one. And then you're going to have to hit allow Google to manage my app. And then you're going to have to exit out of that. Discard your release. I mean, because otherwise, once you've got your keys in there, for some reason, if you try to change them, it likes to give you errors about you can't use the same key to upload as to sign it. And so you really just have to delete the keys you already have, to set it up that Google's going to sign your key, and to save that, and then to go back in and re-upload the new zip file. Change your key again, re-upload the new zip file, and re-upload the new certificate. But anyway, so that's how you would do that without getting signing errors. And like I said, if you just want to give them the app signing key, but you're not willing to give them an upload key yet, maybe you want to wait till later to do that, then just sign your app from the very beginning with your app signing key, and they will take that. Now, because I was already giving them an upload key, that's why even the very first time that I created my app, I signed it with that upload key. So you can do that either way. It just depends. You can sign it the first time with your original key, or keep signing it with your original app signing key until you upload your upload key or give them that certificate. Or you can just do what we did and right away sign it with your upload key and then keep doing all your updates to that app with that same upload key. But hopefully I made myself clear. It's pretty late or early in the morning, so I'm not sure how well I did, but hopefully you were able to follow along with that. It's just been super crazy at work, and I wanted to make sure to get this out tonight because I've been wanting to do it for the last couple days, but I've been dead tired. So anyway, hopefully you figured out how to follow along with that, and if not, just ask some questions in the comments and I'll try to make a more clear follow-up. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Good night.